guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, then hi, my name's Jade. This is my YouTube channel. Please click that subscribe button and be sure to like this video if you've enjoyed it. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing my birth story, like my birth / C-section experience story. Like my birth story, basically it is my birth story. Because I did like a poll on Instagram and everyone I got the most votes for this kind of video, so this is what I'm going to film. So let's get straight into the video. I will just do a quick summary of like my pregnancy and everything, just in case a few people, most people that do follow me on Instagram will probably have a gist of how I kind of struggled and stuff through pregnancy and things. So I suffered with SPD, which is like pelvic girdle pain, throughout pretty much my whole of my pregnancy, and obviously the further along I got, it was really hard for me to walk and stuff, and some days I would be in so much pain and I'd be crying my eyes out. And I have to say I did enjoy being pregnant, but I didn't at the same time, if you know what I mean. Just the whole being, not being able to walk and stuff and being uncomfortable and not being able to sleep. And some ladies enjoy being pregnant and some just don't. And I was one of those ladies. I just really didn't enjoy being pregnant. Obviously I was, so happy to be having a baby, but I just didn't enjoy it that much as some people do. It is hard work. A backache as well as like my pelvic pain was just, it was just excruciating pain, and I was in a lot of pain, and I even got prescribed codeine by the doctor, which, to be honest, I did hardly took. I think I took it once or twice, just because I just felt if I took it, it might do something, but I just didn't take it unless I really needed it. But yeah, so let's get down to like my birth and leading up to it and everything. So we found out from a scan that Harrison, my son, was breech. Now we only found out because we were having regular scans and checkups because they found something wrong with Harrison's kidneys. It's nothing serious, but they found out at the 20th scan that he had like dilated kidneys, so every like few weeks we would go back to the hospital for a scan, just to see what was going on, if it was improving or whatever. But to this day now, he's 16 weeks old, no 17 weeks old, and he's still under the hospital, so we have to keep going back for tests and just to find out what's going on and all that jazz. But that's a different story. But anyway, so yeah, we found out on one of our scans that he was breech, and obviously my midwife, they check everything, and obviously but my midwife always wrote down on my notes that he wasn't breech, he was head down. But when we actually had a scan, he wasn't. His head was up here right under my ribs, which I kind of knew all along because it was really uncomfortable and I could feel it. So yeah, they found out he was breech, and they offered us the chance to have him turned, which for anyone who doesn't know what that is, basically they turn them manually in your stomach. So they put on loads of gel on your belly and they like try to turn the baby around, so they're facing head down, and obviously in the position to come out, in the labour position, the birth position, whatever you call it. So me and my boyfriend, me and James, we decided we'll go for it. We'll try and have it done. We'll just give it a go. So we went to the breech clinic on the 5th of October. We were booked in to have him turned. So they tried and failed. He just wouldn't turn. The doctor who's doing it, as he was doing it, it wasn't massively painful. It was painful, but it was bearable, basically. And they give you like an injection before it, which kind of like speeds up your heart or something, like gives you an adrenaline. So that was weird. But yeah, the whole turning experience, it was uncomfortable, but it was bearable. Like, I was like feeling really uncomfortable, but I thought, I just need to sit through this pain because I want my baby to turn and I want to be able to give birth to him naturally. That was the only thought in my mind. So yeah, He tried to turn him, and as they got so far, he was turning, and then I think he just lost him, like slipped, and then he just went right back. And I think obviously after like a certain amount of time, they have to just give up and stop, because it's just going to cause the baby distress, and it's just going to be too uncomfortable. You just can't carry on for that long. So they stopped, obviously, and then they offered us the chance to go back in a week's time to try again. So we said yes, but then as the week was getting to that date, we were thinking more of, I don't think we want this to happen. And obviously if he was to still be breech, then they would have to give me a cesarean section, or they give me the option to have a breech birth, which that was not going to happen. I don't fancy that. Which is basically when you have to give birth to them feet first, but that was not going to happen. I was not going to do that. So yeah, that was the 5th of October. We went to the breech clinic and we had that done. And then I had my baby shower a few days later on the 8th of October. So I had my baby shower, and then on the 9th, yeah, I think it was, yeah, the 9th of October, so the day after my baby shower, it was just as I'd gone to bed, I started having these like pains in my stomach, and I was feeling really uncomfortable, like they were like cramps. Now I had a water infection a week before, and I went to the hospital and they checked me over, and they said obviously you've got a water infection. So I was having like back pains in my kidneys, which I might have thought they were contractions, but they weren't. It was a false alarm. They were just kidney pains, like whatever, and they were really painful. So yeah, anyway, I started having these pains again in my back and in my stomach as well, and I thought, oh, maybe it's just the same as that. Maybe it was, I just thought it was related to my water infection, maybe it's come back again or something. So I just thought nothing of it, and I took some paracetamol and I went to bed. And I think the pains did wake me up a couple of times, but then again I just thought nothing of it and went and I went to sleep. Bearing in mind, at this point I was only 36 weeks pregnant, so in my mind I knew the baby could come early, but I just thought, you know, it's nothing's happening yet, it's too early. So on the 10th of October, me and James, we went out for the day. I think we went to visit family, and I was just getting these pains all day, and I thought something's not right, this just does not feel right. And they were getting really intense, like they were really painful, and I was having to breathe through them. So I was thinking, these keep coming and going, something's not right. So we rang the hospital and I told them what was going on, and they just basically said, just come down, we'll check you over, it might just be nothing. So he goes down, gets my folder, you know, my notes for pregnancy notes. We goes down and she checks me over, and now I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm thinking, whew, yes, this is painful. So I'm like breathing through the pain, and they give me some pain relief, and I think she gave me codeine. I can't remember what she gave me, but she gave me some strong pain relief to kind of help. So, and they strapped me to a monitor as well. So they strapped me to the, I don't remember the name of the machine, but where they put the little belly thing around your belly, on your bump, and obviously they check baby's heartbeat and all that stuff. So I'm strapped onto that, and obviously I have to press the button every time I feel the baby move, and I was on that for a good half an hour. And then the nurse came in, the midwife, and she was like, I was saying, you know, I'm getting a lot of pain. And then she goes out, and by this point James had gone to get a drink and something to eat downstairs in the little cafe, whatever. So he'd come back, and when he came back I said, she just wrote on the, you know, the little sheet that comes from the monitor with all your contractions and baby's heartbeat and all that stuff. Well, she'd wrote on there contracting, and I was like, I think I'm having contractions, I'm in labour. And James was like, nah, like, it's too early, and you know, you don't think things are going to happen that early. So we were just like, you know, like, we didn't expect any of this to happen. We'd come in hospital, I just thought it was a water infection, or just, you know, it could have been Braxton Hicks, but no, it turns out they were actually contractions, and I was in really slow labour. Because not long after that she came to check me, like examine me. So she took me to a room and she said, we'll just examine you. So she examined me, and I was 1 centimetre dilated, and we just looked at each other like, what the hell. And obviously because Harrison was breech, we had to have a C-section. That was going to be like the plan, because I didn't want to give birth to him naturally because it could be dangerous and all this. He could get stuck and things could happen. So we just said we were going to have a C-section. So when she examined me, we was expecting her to send us home. On one born every minute, you know what happens. They say, oh, you've got to be over 4 centimetres or whatever before they can admit you and whatever. So we just assumed that they would send us home. And when she said to us that they were going to get us a room, or they were going to put us in like an ward or something because they're going to keep me in, and then she mentioned we're going to do a cesarean section tomorrow, we was like, what? She just basically just said, yeah, we think we're gonna have to get this, we're gonna get this baby out, we're gonna do a cesarean section tomorrow. And we just looked at each other like I don't understand. I'm only 1 centimetre, but you know, because I was in labour, I'm really slow labour, if they sent me home, anything could have happened. I could have progressed so quick. And you know, you don't want it to get to that point where if I've progressed so quickly and I've got to like 10 centimetres and you know, I'm in labour at home and my baby's coming out legs first, then that's not really good. So I think that was why they didn't send me home. So on the 10th, that's when I went into the hospital, and they told me I was going to have my cesarean section tomorrow, so like on the 11th. So they had to give me like these steroid injection things, and then they put me in a ward. And obviously James couldn't stay, so he had to go home at like 10 o'clock at night. And I was just freaking out. I was just like not prepared for this. I didn't know what to think. And obviously when he left, I was crying my eyes out, because being in hospital on your own, when you're pregnant, you're about to have a cesarean, you're about to have your baby. I was just so emotional. I didn't know what to think. I was texting my mum like, oh my god, this has happened. We've come to hospital. We're having the baby tomorrow. Like, oh my god. So I was just, loads of emotions were going through my mind. I didn't know what to think. I was freaking out, and I was like telling James, I don't even know if I've got everything packed. I don't think everything's in my hospital bag. I need to like check everything, make sure I've got everything. So the next day he comes back, James comes back to the hospital, and then the midwife comes around, the doctor, or the one who, like the surgeon, and she basically came and she checked me, and like they put me back on the monitor, and she checked me again, and I was still 1 centimetre dilated. Now my contractions were coming on and off, so I was getting them, and then I would go hours with nothing and I was fine, and then it'd come back again and I'd be like in a lot of pain. And because nothing was progressing, they said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to give you another steroid injection, and then we're going to push your C-section back till tomorrow. So, you know, we'd got all ourselves prepared. We thought, oh, we're going to have a baby today, and then they said, no, we're going to do it tomorrow now. So we had to wait another day. So you know, it was just a bit deflated. I was a bit upset because, you know, you get yourself psyched up, it's a major surgery, and then I didn't want to have it in the first place, and then they come and told us that, you know, we're going to do it tomorrow. I was just like, right, okay. So all through that day, like I say, I had on and off contractions, and the midwife basically just said to me that you're in really slow labour, and if they sent me home, they didn't know what would happen. I could go into full labour within a few days, or I could go right through to my due date and just be in really slow labour. And I was just like, if they sent me home and I just went, and I went a few weeks later and I was just having contractions for days on end and nothing was happening, oh, I think I would have been climbing the walls. Because I mean, I wasn't in, obviously I don't know, because the only contractions that I feel that I was having were only like small and mild, because they weren't like obviously often enough and stronger, like they would have been if I would got to like 10 centimetres or whatever. But so she checked me again later that day, and I was still 1 centimetre, and then I think it was about late at night, James had to go home again. So they come round and told us that my cesarean section was booked in for, I think they said it was booked in for about 8 o'clock in the morning. So, what was it, 8 o'clock? Or about 10 o'clock or something like that. It was very early anyway. So I was like really crapping my pants. I don't think I slept at all that night. And as I say, I was still in a lot of pain. I still kept getting contractions on and off. And I didn't sleep at all. I didn't sleep from the very first night that I was admitted into hospital. I didn't sleep at all. It's just so hard to sleep in hospitals because you've got other like pregnant ladies around you on the ward, and you've got like, you can hear babies crying on the wards as well, and all the monitors beeping, and like everyone just talking, like all the midwives just walking down the corridors talking. It's just so hard to sleep, and I just felt so lonely and upset, and I didn't want to be on my own. I wanted James there, and I was just so emotional. I could cry my eyes out, and I barely slept, and I was just so nervous and scared because I didn't want to have a cesarean. I didn't want to have a major operation, you know, because it is major surgery, and I was just like I was freaking out. I was really crapping my pants. So it came to the day of the cesarean, C-section, the 12th. And I was like, I'm going to have my baby today. I cannot, it just wasn't sinking in. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. So the doctor, my surgeon, she came round to my bed at 8 o'clock in the morning, and bearing in mind, I've had nothing to eat because they have to starve you as well before you have obviously any operation. So they had to starve me, and I was nil by mouth from midnight. And the same the previous day, I was nil by mouth for hours. So yeah, so I was nil by mouth from midnight, and she came round to my bedside about 8 o'clock in the morning, and she was just like, we're going to examine you. So she examined me again, and then she examined me again, and I was still only bloody 1 centimetre dilated. So I wasn't progressing, nothing was happening. And as she confirmed that I was, you know, I'm in really slowly, but nothing's happening. So she basically tried to send me home, and I was fuming. I was crying my eyes out. I was like, you've kept me in here for 2 days and you're going to send me home when you told me yesterday I was going to have my cesarean section, and then now you push it back till today, and now you tell me I've got to go home. I was just crying my eyes out. I was just like, because she basically told me nothing's happening, and if they took the baby out now, and there's all these risks, and he's still classed as premature because he's under 37 weeks and all this jazz. And I was just like, and she was saying, if you took him out now, he might have to go into special care and stuff. And just, I knew deep down inside that my baby was fine. I knew he was okay. And even if he did have to go into the special baby care unit, neonatal, I knew he would be fine, and he's in the best hands because we were in Liverpool Women's Hospital. That's where I had him, and I knew that that's the best place for him to be. And in that hospital, they've got the best special baby care unit ever. And even in Alderhay, just down the road, that's like an amazing hospital, and he would have been in safe hands. So I just knew that he would have been fine. So she said, you can still go ahead with it if you want, but it's up to you, it's your consent. So I just rang James and cried my eyes out, you need to get here now. They're telling me that I'm not having the cesarean now, they're not going to do it, they want me to go home. So he's like, right, I'm coming down now. So he came rushed, and basically she just came around and just explained everything to James, and we spoke, and we were like, no, we still want to go ahead with it. So she was like, right, okay, that's fine, we're still happy to do it if you want to go ahead with it. So them saying that made me think, well, if they were so worried that my baby was going to be like, there was going to be something wrong, then why would you still let me go ahead with it? So we were just like, no, can't be right, he's going to be fine, we're going to go ahead with it. So we signed all the papers, and obviously they come around and tell you all the things that could go wrong if you were to go ahead, because with every surgery things can go wrong. I signed all the papers, all the consent forms, and I was like, she said, because obviously you was first on the list, but now because they came and tried to delay it and told us to go home, they obviously pushed someone in front, so we had to wait. So we basically, I think we went down at about 11 o'clock for the C-section, and I was crapping my pants, I really was. And obviously you have to take everything off underneath, and you just put a gown on. So you have a lovely gown on, so they put one on the front, and then like one on this way, and then one on the front waist. so obviously you can't see anything through the back. So you've got 2 gowns on, and then I had my lovely sexy stockings and my slippers, and obviously I brought my phone as well because you're allowed to take pictures while you're in there and stuff. So I took my phone, and James took pictures for me. So we get in the room and I'm sat there on the end of the bed, and they basically just tell you to sit forward, and obviously they tell you what they're going to do. They're going to put the needle into the spine and all that, and blah blah blah, and you're going to feel, you feel quite warm, and you know it's going to work. And then, so yeah, I'm sat on the end of the bed, and I have to like, you know, sit, relax with my arms on my knees, and I just have to like flop over and just relax. And they put like a little hat on my head and all that stuff. And obviously James was gowned up as well, and I was, oh my god, it was just, it kind of just went all over my head, and all my worries, I was just like trying to calm myself and just get into a zone and just not think about it. So they put the needle in and that was it. They put the needle in, and I obviously started to feel nothing. I was going all numb, and I couldn't feel anything from here, from like just here down, nothing. I felt so weird. It was just a weird feeling, a weird sensation. And they grabbed me and put me onto the bed, and I sit back, and it's just so weird not being able to move your legs or do anything. And she's like, can you lift your legs up? And I'm just like, nope, I can't. I cannot lift them up. So the next bit, after they've done that, they put a catheter in, obviously. So that was a weird feeling. Obviously you can't feel them doing it because you're numb down there, but yeah, there was like at least 13 different like surgeons, midwives and everything in the room. So it was a little bit like, you know, I'm just sat there with my legs wide open, and they're putting a catheter in, like, you know. But I think that just goes over your head. I really wasn't that bothered. So yeah, they put the catheter in, and then a test to see if you can feel anything. So they like spray cold water on your back, oh no, on your arms, because you can still feel your arms. So they spray it on your arms. Yes, I can feel that it's cold. Spray it on your back. No, I can't feel that. So then they know that obviously it's worked and it's in and everything's fine and you're all numb. They put the blood pressure thing on your arm, and that is so annoying. It has to go off like every like 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, every few minutes, and it's just squeezing your arm, and then it has to stop, and then again. Oh my god, it was so uncomfortable, and it was, I really hated it, and I was freaking out. I didn't like it. And obviously they put like your drip in for like and stuff, and I had a bit of a headache as well. I felt really sick. So like they were giving me water and stuff, and I just felt so sick. They did that, put the blood pressure monitor thing on, and you were like, well, okay, we're going to start now. And honestly, you don't feel anything, obviously, because you're all numb. You don't feel them cut you or anything like that. And then when they actually get to the baby, they're like feeling around and they pull the baby out, you just feel a lot of like, it just feels like, you know, you just on the bed like, ugh, and they're like pulling the baby out. It just feels a lot of tugging. It doesn't feel weird, like it does feel weird, but you don't, like, obviously it's not painful, you don't feel anything, but it's just a weird sensation, like, you know, someone's inside your belly just you know, trying to get the baby out, and it's just a weird feeling. It's not painful, like I say, but it all just happened so fast. I think from the time you go into theatre, it takes about an hour in total for everything, and that's like delivering the baby and stitching you up and everything. But from actually cutting you open to getting the baby out, I think it's like 4 minutes, if that, like a couple of minutes. And we honestly didn't even know that she took the baby out, because we were just talking, me and James, like, we were just talking to each other, and God, I've got a really bad cough, I do apologise. We were just sat there talking to each other, like, I can't believe, like, we're gonna have our baby in a few minutes. It was just like mental. So anyway, she was like, so here he is, and we were like, oh what, oh my god. And next thing, she pulled like the screen down and showed him to us, and oh my god, it was like so emotional. We were both just crying our eyes out, and he was there, and I just was like, oh my god, I can't believe it. It was just amazing, like just to see him. And we estimated that he was going to be like £5 something, so when they took him away and weighed him and he was £7.5, born at 36 weeks, we were just like, oh my god, imagine if we went full term with him. But he still looked so tiny, and all his clothes like were massive on him. But it was just such an like amazing moment. Like the midwife took all the pictures for us, and James cut the cord, and then she brought him over to us, like to me, and I got to hold him, and I just never wanted to let him go. He was just perfect. And you know what, I was so nervous before I went in there and had my C-section, but honest to God, any ladies, any of you girls who are out there and you know you're going through the same kind of thing, you're going to have a C-section, or you know you're scared in case you have to have like one, honest to God, it's not even that bad. It really isn't. It was over with in minutes. I mean, they had to take him away and James just held him while they stitched me up, which took about, I don't know, about 20 minutes to stitch me up, because obviously they have to go through a load of layers to stitch you back up. But once they stitched me back up, they put me on the bed and they took me to like the recovery ward, and I was there for a good, I'd say about an hour maybe, just checking me over, make sure that I was okay and you know nothing was wrong and nothing's gonna happen to me. So everything was fine, I was fine, and they brought Harrison over to me and obviously tried to get me to feed him straight away, and they brought him over and he went on and he lashed on straight away, and it was just the best feeling in the whole world. And I was just so emotional. I was emotional for days, weeks. I still am now. Sometimes I just cry for nothing, honest to God. It was just amazing. But I would say obviously the recovery is, you know, in my experience, I found my recovery it wasn't difficult, but it just went on for ages, because I ended up having 2 infections in my scar. Like, I think I only just fully recovered a few weeks ago, and I'm nearly 17 weeks now. So, but obviously everyone's different, everyone recovers different, you know. So after we was in the recovery ward, they took us to our own room, because we requested could we have our own room. So it was just me and James and the baby in our own room, and James got to stay over because he put a little camp bed over in the room. So we were in there for 2 nights in total, and I was obviously in hospital for 5 nights in total. And I couldn't really do much. So like if Harrison cried, I couldn't bend over to like get him, because obviously I was in so much pain. And I think within like 6 hours after my surgery, they had me up and walking around the room. They got me off the bed and tried to get me to walk and stuff. And obviously you have to go to the toilet, take the catheter out, and you can't go home until you've produced a certain amount of wee, basically. So you have to measure your wee in a jug and write it down and say, oh, I've weed this much. And you can't go until you've wheezed and basically like opened your bowels, basically. So I was in there for 2 days. But not only that, Harrison blood sugar levels were really low and he had like jaundice, so that's why we were there for 2 days. And obviously because I was recovering from my section, and those 2 days, well, the first few days after the surgery is it's difficult. I was in a lot of pain, but one thing I will say is when you're in the hospital, or even when you get home, even if you're not in pain, always keep on top of your medication, your pain relief. Like every time you're supposed to have it, every couple of hours, just because it just keeps you on top of your pain and keeps it manageable. Otherwise you're just going to be in a lot of pain, and it takes ages for them to kick in. And you know, when you're in the hospital you can have so much pain relief, well, not, you know, to a certain extent, but they've got loads of options for different kind of strong pain reliefs, and if you need it, then take it, because you will be in a lot of pain. I was in so much pain, even just, you know, coughing hurt, laughing, I couldn't laugh. When James tried to make me laugh, I'm just like, don't make me laugh because it hurts. Just, like anything, like sitting up, moving around. I couldn't do that for a good, like I couldn't sleep properly for a good while in bed. Even at one point I was like having to sit up because it's just so painful to move around in bed and toss and turn and stuff. And even showering was quite difficult as well. James had to help me shower, in and out the shower and stuff, and you know, the recovery is really hard, but if you've got someone helping you, then you know, it makes it a lot better. As long as you're not doing too much, don't do too much, because you're just gonna, you know, prolong the recovery, and it's just gonna be it's just gonna hurt. And you know, but it is hard to not do, you know, because you're looking after a baby. So when James went back to work after 2 weeks, you know, obviously I was still recovering, I was still in a lot of pain, and I was still recovering from my section. At like 13 weeks, I think I fully recovered, because I had two infections in my scalp, which is just annoying. They just give you antibiotics and then it's fine, you just get better. It's just, some people take a longer to recover, and I'm one person. I'm like, I would take ages to recover from things, especially like, you know, stuff like that. Like my experience, I would say I thought my experience was really good. Everyone was really nice and calm, and it just made me feel so nice and relaxed and calm. And everyone at Liverpool Women's Hospital, they were just, all the staff were just really lovely and amazing, and they looked after me and Harrison, and I couldn't fault their care. It was just really good, especially for the whole 5 days that I was in hospital. He didn't even need special care. He was fine, he was perfect. He just had a bit of jaundice, which I think most babies get anyway. Day 2 after I had him was a really hard struggle. I cried so much that day. I was just in a lot of pain. I just felt quite useless, because I felt like I couldn't look after him properly, because when he was crying, and I was just so thankful that James could stay over, because when he was crying I couldn't just bend over and get him. Like James had to keep getting up and getting him, so none of us had sleep. I didn't sleep properly for 5 days, and I was just so tired and emotional, and I just broke down because I had no sleep. And you know, it is hard, but it does get better. You know, anyone out there, any other mums out there, any other mums to be out there who are worried and scared, honestly, it's nothing to be scared of. It's honestly not that bad. Yes, it's painful, the recovery, and it's hard, but you know, as long as you're not doing too much, then honestly it's, you know, you will be fine, trust me. But yeah, that was my like labour and birth story. So obviously I had to have a cesarean. I would have loved to have an actual birth, but just sometimes these things don't always go as planned. Say hi, say hello. So this is Harrison. He is 17 weeks nearly, so he's about 16 weeks in a couple of days. And he is just the best thing that's ever happened to me, honest to God. I love him so much. He's getting a bit cranky. I wasn't gonna include him in the video, but he woke up and I fed him, and then I thought I'll just do a little clip. So if the video is like a bit mishmashed, and I'm just going to slot this clip in somewhere, and so that I could show him to you. But yes, so he's getting really big now. And yeah, you like the camera. But yeah, he's getting so big now, nearly 17 weeks. He can lift his own head up now. He's trying to roll over. So it's getting really difficult to change his bum and all that now, isn't it? But yeah, he's such a happy, lovely boy, and we're very lucky at the moment that he's managing to sleep through the night. Last night he slept from 9:30 till 7:30 in the morning, which was just amazing. So he's a good little boy, aren't you? And he's so happy all the time. He just wants to play and stuff, and yeah, he's growing into a good little boy. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly jump in and make this little clip and show you him. But yeah, you're gonna say bye now. You're gonna say bye bye. I'm going to bed now. You say bye. But yeah, that was my birth story. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you want me to do more videos like this and talk about anything to do with pregnancy or labour and anything like that. But yeah, that was my birth story. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you're new and you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I would really love it. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.